ArsenalFanTV down here at the Emirates. I'm here with Mark King here from the Arsenal protest group. He's been involved in a lot of the protests that have taken place this year against Arsene Wenger, the marches. Did you have anything to do with the plane?
Yeah, that was us, yeah.
Yeah, the plane that got flown over. Now, the news is in, he's staying, it's official, it's all over the Arsenal website. Arsene Wenger will be here for another 2 years at least. How are you feeling about it?
I'm gutted, Rob, to be fair. You know, I mean, I think we expected it. We knew right from the start it was going to be a huge battle to try and get him out, and we did what we could. I thought it was an ideal opportunity. Things were falling into place towards the end of the season, that he might think to himself, you know what, I've had maybe enough of this, I'm not being appreciated here, I'll go somewhere else. And also that Kroenke might have thought, well, you know, maybe it is time for a change with a bit of help from the board swaying him. But and then to go out on a high after a brilliant performance on Saturday, but not to be. The man is he always reminds me he's like a gambler chasing his losses now. He's going to keep going, and he's gambling with his legacy. And I think he'll keep going until he ruins it completely, mate, because he still thinks he can win the Premier League. He still thinks he can mount a title, a go at the Champions League. It's not going to happen.
Stan Kroenke said in his statement that he's the right man for the job.
Stan Kroenke doesn't know the first thing about football, does he? Let's be honest. Yeah, he's the right man for Stan Kroenke because he'll do what Stan wants him to do. He'll keep the money ticking over. Stan's probably thought, all right, okay, I'll give you 1 year leeway at losing the Champions League money, but it's not a huge problem. All of that stuff that we've heard today, mate, all of those quotes that have come out is just recycled bullshit, basically, that we've been hearing for years. They're not saying anything new. You know, the whole talk about, things were going to change, the infrastructure and in the back room, there's no sign of that at the moment. So, you know, we're waiting to see what happens over the summer. And we'll be back next year.
The worry is, right, for a lot of fans and, you know, is that, all right, we lose a couple of games next season. Now, for you, and you've been one of the main guys organising a lot of these things, are you resigned to the fact now that, listen, he's here for 2 years, so we're not going to protest no more, we'll leave it and see what happens? Or are you still going to continue protesting until he's left? I mean, what are you going to do now?
I think what's been shown this year is that it's very results driven at Arsenal. You know, fans have a lot of respect for him still. And I spoke to so many fans who said, look, it is time for change. But they wouldn't actually do really anything about it. You know, they wouldn't protest, they wouldn't hold any banners, they wouldn't do anything like that, you know, out of respect or just it's not their thing. I think once we get a few bad results, it'll all start again. I mean, you can see we're only 3 days after the cup final and people are already sort of pissed off with how this announcement's been done, the comments that have been coming out from Stan and Gazidis and from the manager that, you know, quite frankly, we've all heard before and don't fill you with any sort of renewed hope for next season. So I think, you know, once you start getting a few bad results, the people will start to get angry again because that seems to be what it takes. It seems to take the results and I can't really see anything changing much next season.
All right, let me ask you this, right? And obviously, as I said, you know, you've been involved in a lot of the protests, but let's just say, right, he's going to stay. So he's here for 2 years, right? Now, if you accept that and you was to sit down in front of him and Ivan Gazidis and you went in there as like to advise them as what they could do to turn guys like you around, without saying leave right now, but what, with them staying, what can they do to start to win back guys like you?
Well, it's they have to show some real ambition, and I think that's what's been lacking through this decision to keep him on. You know, they've got to go out, they've got to keep Alexis Sanchez. They've really got to persuade this guy that the future is right for him at Arsenal and not let him go somewhere else. They've got to buy the right players now over this coming summer, and that's going to be hard work, mate, because, you know, the prices are going up and up and up still, and we're competing with some really big teams. We haven't got Champions League football. And then he's got to make changes. The changes in the back room, because the club has been stale. He's had 2 assistant managers in 21 years. Primarac's been sitting next to him for that whole period of time. He's got other people who've been here for years and years and years, and these guys I don't think are helping him. So he needs to make changes there, and then he needs to put the team out and show that this last run of results, 9 wins in 10 games, which was really, really terrific performance, particularly Saturday's game, is not just a fluke. It wasn't just because most of those teams were already on the beach, but his team is able to do that across a 38-game Premier League season, rather than it being a cup competition. Because at the end of the day, three FA Cups in 4 years is astounding, mate. That's a brilliant achievement. But, we might as well be Spurs from the early 80s, because that's what they were doing. We didn't move here to win FA Cups. We came here to win the Premier League. That's the dream that we were sold, and fall on us for buying it. But that's what we were told. We were coming here because we were going to compete with all the top clubs in Europe, and we were going to be up there challenging for the league title, and we were going to be in with a good shout of the Champions League. We're nowhere near that. So he has a real job to turn this around, I think. And, in my opinion, he's not the man to do it, but he'll now have an opportunity to prove us wrong. So it's down to him now. Arsene Wenger, show us what you got.